is Hannah, and welcome to my channel. I've always wanted to start a booktube, so I figure what better way to start than with a book tour. I have this shelf behind me and another shelf and some other books scattered throughout my room, and I figure we can go over it, and it can be a bookshelf slash room tour. Yeah, so I hope you stick around, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with the very top of my bookshelf, and yes, I am a little bit extra, and I have a bookshelf ladder. It's actually an RV ladder for like bunk beds. I got it off of Amazon and it works perfect. So starting at the very top left, we have Cassandra Clare's books. Then we have The Kiss of Deception and Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. And then we have the Shadow and Bone trilogy and the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. On the top left shelf, we have the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. And then this middle shelf here is the Rick Riordan books. And so I've tried to collect as many as I can while thrifting over the years. And I think I've got all of them. I would love to get around to them at some point. I was a huge Percy Jackson fan as a kid, and I think it'd be really fun to reread all of these as an adult. And then this top right shelf is Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm. On my next shelf down is a non-book shelf. It's just got an antique telephone that I got at an estate sale and a porg. This shelf, I kind of just put these together. They're like literary fiction type books and they're all blue. So I just felt like they all squeezed in on this really thin shelf nicely. So we have Call Me By Your Name by Andre Aciman, All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, Normal People by Sally Rooney, A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, and Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, and then a vintage typewriter from my grandparents. Okay, so next up is a lot of my YA contemporary books. So this shelf over here is just dedicated to my Pretty Little Liars books. I was obsessed in middle school, and that's another series that I would love to reread as an adult. I think it'd be pretty entertaining. Hiding behind this stained glass spiderweb that I made is The Summer I Turned Pretty and To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Then we have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe and Dive into the Waters of the World. Then we have Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, The Summer of Broken Rules, Better Than the Movies, The Foxhole Court, Before I Fall, Five Survive, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, If I Stay and Where She Went. Then we have the 5 Heartstopper volumes, as well as Solitaire. And then over here is my John Green and my Hank Green collection. So we have The Fault in Our Stars, Looking for Alaska, Paper Towns, Turtles All the Way Down, and then I also included his nonfiction works, Everything is Tuberculosis, and the Anthropocene Reviewed, as well as Hank Green's 2 books, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing and A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. This shelf is my Emily Henry and Taylor Jenkins Reid shelf. So we have People We Meet on Vacation, Beach Read, Book Lovers, Happy Place, Funny Story, and Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. And then we have Atmosphere, Carrie Soto is Back, Malibu Rising, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Moving down one shelf, we have my Stephen King books. So I have It, The Shining, and The Stand. I have read more, I just don't have physical copies, but I do enjoy a good Stephen King. And then we have Bones and All by Camille DeAngelis and The Secret History by Donna Tartt. And then on this shelf, it's the Ember and the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. I found these 3 at the thrift store. They're first printing, first editions of Air of Fire, Empire Storms, and Tower of Dawn from the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. I would love to find more out in the wild or maybe on eBay someday to complete the collection. But yeah, very happy with those. And then I have the Legendborn series by Tracy Deonn. Would highly recommend. Next up is my romance shelf. It's sparse. I don't typically reach for romance, but I'd love to get more into it. But what I do have is Hooked by Emily McIntyre, The Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, Check It and Mate, and Bride, all by Ali Hazelwood. Done and Dusted by Lila Sage, The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, Red, White, and Royal Blue, and One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter, Love Rosie by Cecilia Ahern, From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata, It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, and Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood. Moving right along, we have this shelf, which is kind of just for tall things. So we have Wicked, the Beatrix Potter Complete Tales, Euphoria Fashion, and a scrapbook I made from my trip to Disney and Universal I went on last year. And then this Tiffany lamp that I thrifted for 11 bucks. Okay, next, this is kind of my sci-fi and fantasy standalone kind of catch-all shelf. So starting off on the left, we have Legends and Lattes, Annihilation, Project Hail Mary, Clara and the Sun, The Night Circus, The Starless Sea, The Power, Snow Crash, House in the Cerulean Sea, and Under the Whispering Door, One Dark Window, The Poppy War, Ninth House, Uprooted, Gideon the Ninth, The Bone Season, and The Priory of the Orange Tree, The Raven Scholar, The Three Body Problem, The City We Became, and The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Next up is my YA dystopian fantasy series. Most of them are trilogies, so that's why I've clustered them that way. So starting over here, we have the Maze Runner series, then we have the Testing series, the Fifth Wave series, the Legend series plus the Young Elites by Marie Lu, the Cruel Prince, Scythe, and A Curse So Dark and Lonely and a Heart So Fierce and Broken. We are getting towards the bottom. But up here we have my Lego Blacksmith set, and then we have the Thursday Murder Club series. Following that, this is kind of my thriller slash horror section. So we have Bunny, House of Leaves, My Best Friend's Exorcism. I don't know why A Touch of Darkness is in here, because I guess that's technically romance, fantasy. Then we have The Troop by Nick Cutter, A Dowry of Blood, Mexican Gothic, Pride and Prejudice, and Zombies, Dark Places, Panic, both of the first Housemaid books, and then Feed by Mira Grant. I have relocated the ladder for these next couple of shelves, but we have the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and then we have the Assistant to the Villain and Apprentice to the Villain. We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars. This next shelf is more of my YA fantasy shelf. So we have The Wilder Girls, Powerless, A Study in Drowning, Fable, The Knife of Never Letting Go, Renegades, Graceling, Fireborn, To Kill a Kingdom, The Darkest Minds, Skyward, Kingdom of the Wicked, Vespertine, Sorcery of Thorns, and Mystery of Thorn Manor. Then we have The Raven Boys, Red Queen, Gone, Strange the Dreamer, and Muse of Nightmares. And then a couple middle grade books. So we have The Wild Robot, Gregor the Overlander, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, and The Invention of Hugo Cabret. Moving back to the left side of my shelves, I have the Me Before You series by Jojo Moyes, and then the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown, and Game of Thrones. Okay, so moving down to these bottom three shelves, this is my physical media section. So over here I have some VHS tapes from childhood and a couple that I've thrifted. And then we have a Walkman that my mom gave me. It was hers in the 80s. And then I don't know if anyone else watched this show called Cruel Summer back in maybe 2020. And I won a sweepstakes. So I still have this milk carton. It was full of candy. It's her missing poster. And they gave me rollerblades and all this shit. It was so cool. Anyway, let me know if you watched that show. So then I have my DVD collection. Again, a lot are from childhood, but I also love to pick up some when I go to the thrift store. They're usually only $2 or $3. And I think having physical media in this day and age is super important. So that's why these are here. And then I have, my crystals and some other decorations down here. Yeah, that's my physical media collection. So these are some more YA books. So I have 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim, Spontaneous, the Carry On series, Truly Devious, The Vanishing Stare, and The Book Thief. And then down here is my ACOTAR books. Welcome to my reading nook. I have a pretty small bedroom, but I do really love this space. It's super cozy. So I have my Papasan chair, my Bella Swan blanket, my little shark from IKEA, and then these 3 floating shelves. This is kind of where I put a lot of hardcover books that just don't really fit anywhere else. But I have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, The God of the Woods, Lessons in Chemistry, and Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Over on this one is Our Infinite Fates, The Bones Beneath My Skin, Babylonia, The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year, and Sleep Tight. And then this top shelf has my film camera, but underneath is One for My Enemy and the Atlas Six by Olive Blake. And we have Divine Rivals, Outlander, and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Also my Coraline doll that I made. Yeah. While I do love my book nook, this is my favorite part of my room. This is my bed, clearly. I made this canopy out of thrifted curtains and like lace tablecloths. And then I have these two shelves here. So this one up here is primarily classics, and then this is my Hunger Games shrine. So this top shelf is pretty much all thrifted. So some of these books are just for decoration, like these ones that it's like, I don't know, old encyclopedias and The Secret to Tactical Chess. But then we have The Fellowship of the Ring, The Great Gatsby, Picture of Dorian Gray, The Handmaid's Tale, Dune, Fahrenheit 451, The Catcher in the Rye, East of Eden, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Of Mice and Men, Lord of the Flies, Slaughterhouse 5, Animal Farm in 1984, and then these are all like, I don't know, vintage antique books that I've thrifted, plus His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. The Hunger Games is my favorite book series of all time, so I have quite the collection and it's ever growing. So to start, I have the propaganda editions of the original trilogy. Then I have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Sunrise on the Reaping, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay in hardcover. Then this is Peeta's Games by Igzy Grace. It's a fanfic on AO3 that's Peeta's perspective, and I typeset, printed, and bound it myself. Then we have the Sunrise on the Reaping special edition and the special edition box set, plus the illustrated editions of The Hunger Games and Catching Fire. I bet you didn't think I had another bookshelf, did you? So this is my Harry Potter and my Twilight bookshelf, pretty much. So I have the original hardcover Harry Potter series that when I was growing up, my aunt got me, my brother, my cousins each a copy, and she wrote like a little letter at the start of every single one as they released. So I have those. Then I have my Hufflepuff edition, and then I have this edition that I hand bound. I got the paperbacks and I ripped them up and made them into hardcovers. So they look like that. And then over here we have like a little, let's see if I can get this to turn on, a little library. So that's cool. And then down here we have the new special edition of Twilight, and we have the original paperbacks plus the hardcover of Midnight Sun and The Host. Back here, I'm not going to really move my fireplace or my humidifier out of the way to show you, but I do have my Lego Twilight Cullen House set. And down here is a lot of ARCs that I got when I used to work at a bookstore. And then down below on the very bottom shelf, I have a lot of art of books, and then different like textbooks from school and stuff that I've just not gotten rid of. So those are kind of boring, not really worth showing. Almost to the end here. So these are the books that I have on my desk. So this top section is mostly classics again. So we have 100 Years of Solitude, Wuthering Heights, Frankenstein, Little Women, A Clockwork Orange, In Cold Blood, Rebecca, and then these all right here are Agatha Christie books. Then we have The Little Prince. I have both the English and the French version because I took French in high school. Do I know any French now? No, but I still have it. I have Mary Poppins, A Bear Called Paddington, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Narnia, and Emma. Then I have this like collection of Jane Austen books, another collection of Edgar Allan Poe, and then I have the Anne of Green Gables set here, and then these are my Scream VHSs. All right, next, I know it's kind of hard to see, but I have these books here just because they're pretty much all the same height. So I have Alchemized, The Will of the Many, The Strength of the Few, Rose and Chains, The Night and the Moth, and The Nightingale. Last but not least, I have these two shelves that are by my door. So I have the Frederick Bachman books. So I have the Beartown series, My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry, A Man Called Uva, My Friends, and Anxious People. Also, this Victorian lampshade that I made. I have a few of those in my room that I've made. And then this cute little Paddington. And then on this shelf, we have the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. And that is about it. Thank you for joining me for this book/room tour. I hope you enjoyed if you've stuck around this long. It was really fun to film, and I hope I can start making some more videos here on BookTube. All right, I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye!